Truly, the future is foldable, and that is definitely what Samsung does tend to believe. And Samsung actually just released on their Samsung Display YouTube channel a video similar to what they released about a year ago, where they kind of show off several different prototype, or different, maybe you would call them ideas, concepts would perhaps be the right word, of folding devices that they are working on, things that they might think the future is going to lead towards. There's a lot of really interesting stuff in this video. Now keep in mind, these are concepts. It's hard to say which, if any of these, are in current development. These are ideas. These are things that we may see, we may not see, but I still think that it is pretty fun and pretty interesting to take a look at them. So let's jump over here to this video. I will link to the full video in the description so that you can watch it yourself as well. But this is the video in question here. So it starts off with some man on the beach, and I like what they're doing here because it's immediately like super duper skinny and wide, and then it opens up, so to speak, into a more normal 16:9 type thing, and that is mimicking what we have here. So this surfer dude in his surfer gloves, I suppose, here he is opening up a device that is a tri-fold device. Now this is something that I don't know how much I would want this necessarily, but it's a really cool concept because you can go from being a pretty normal looking phone when it's fully furled into that trifold, all the way up into a really wide, like 16:9 display. Or I guess you could also fold out just one screen, so you could have 3 different size screens effectively all in one. And they're going to show some more stuff about this later. This is clearly not a real thing. This doesn't even really look real to my eye. This looks very simulated, but you can kind of see what's going on here. He's full screen in the video. You've got a really, really massive canvas to watch content on. But then here in another scenario, they've kind of got it in a tint mode, a la the LG, what is it, Lenovo, the Yoga laptops, or of course Surface Duo. But then one step further, fold it down, so that now that you have basically a laptop and a kickstand, but the kickstand can also serve as a second screen, so that this person over here is, I don't exactly know what task they're achieving from this. This is where this stuff gets a little bit hinky to me. So the guy's watching a surfing video because they just love surfing. This person appears to have the weather and then maybe some kind of like radar thing or like a satellite thing going on there, but then a keyboard. I don't really know why you would need a keyboard in that instance, but I mean, it kind of still serves the idea, shows what you could be doing with a device like this. Back to some more surfing imagery, which I don't know how much that's useful. Now we have what they're showing off as a vertical slider. This is something that I've never seen before, and I don't really know how useful this would be either, but it's a cool idea. This is a short, kind of more wide display. Kind of reminds me of the Oppo Find N, or again, maybe a single screen on a Surface Duo. It's very short and wide, but then she's sort of manual. This is not motorized, which I think is probably okay. She grabs it and pulls it up and extends it to be a more modern looking smartphone that's really tall and wide. Samsung loves these things. She's either shocked that someone has followed her on this fake social media platform, or they've responded. The surfer guy, I guess he's famous, has responded to her. She's either shocked by this, or she's shocked at her. She just realized her phone can extend up. I can't quite tell which one she's shocked by. Then she looks over to this guy over here who is watching something, some sort of TV show or something on his device, and he then expands it out as well. And so this is actually really cool because it's actually expanding both ways, and that actually makes the vertical slider thing make a bit more sense, because you could go from a more manageable display. Like most people, I think, would agree that when you're holding modern devices that are really tall, you can't really like use your thumb to like reach up there to get to the top stuff. So if you made it shorter, but then had the ability to expand it when you wanted to turn it sideways to watch 16:9 content, that might be cool. And this is taking that to another degree because it is a double sliding mechanism to go from quite square to quite wide. And I think that's a pretty interesting concept. This lady here pulls out another trifold design. Now this is really crazy to me because if you saw the way that this thing actually unfurled, it appears that it folded over itself. So this actually, there must be some sort of floating hinge or something that allows this to actually sit over top of that, so that when it's fully closed, the screens are fully protected. There's no screen exposed at all. And then when it's opened up, it's a giant Tab S8 style tablet. But it also has the ability, apparently, to have rigid hinges to sit upright. I don't know how you would possibly balance this. This seems like an ergonomic nightmare to have this being your platform and all of this up top. But still, maybe that's something they could pull off. Maybe they could weight one side of it. That would be kind of awkward too. I don't know exactly how that would work. Now, this is the one that kind of caught my eye the most. So I immediately saw here, they're gaming on this thing. But if you notice, there's a hinge in the back, okay? There's a hinge in the back, and then it's one folding OLED in the front. So they're both gaming in different postures, right? She's got it landscape. He's got it portrait. He's got his controls on the bottom. This reminds me of like Surface Duo, when you use the Game Pass streaming, so you're here and your controls are down here. That kind of reminds me of that, where she's turned sideways and using more traditional touch controls. And whenever they're done doing their gaming session, they just kind of close the thing up. You can see here, he just closes the thing around and the screen is fully protected. I really like the idea of this design. It's kind of Duo-ish in some ways. Kind of reminds me of what, again, looking here, Duo with one single screen might look like. Here we have a self-emitting quantum dot display. Now they're mostly just talking about like monitors, things that they're working on in terms of that space, but not as exciting as foldable stuff. And in terms of foldables, that's really about all that we did get in this particular video. But I think there's some really interesting stuff there. But all in all, I would love to hear from you guys. What is your favorite design that they showed off? What's the one that you think is most likely to make it to the market and is most likely to be something you would want to pay for? Let me know about all this in the comments down below. I think this was a fun video. I'm glad Samsung puts this kind of stuff out. The stuff that, you know, again, maybe doesn't turn into anything, but it's still fun to watch. It's fun to think about the future and what these things, what the future might hold in terms of our smartphones, guys. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for watching this video. I will see you on the next one. And until next time, stay nerdy, my friends.